Hey guys, Austin here with another Paleo-Zoo-Keeper rant. This is definitely gonna be a peculiar little Paleo-Zoo-Keeper rant, and because I'm pretty sure many of you probably noticed that for the last couple of weeks we got the news that pretty much undid everything we ever thought about T-Rex. And no, I'm not just talking about Nano Tyrannus from last year, but admittedly, no doubt it's related to that. Instead of reaching up to full size sexual maturity by age 20, like we originally thought, turns out T Rex basically would just reach up to 40 by the time it's able to reach sexual maturity. And this pretty much changes a lot of things, like that ridiculous growth spurt that we always thought T Rex had. Not exactly like that. So yeah, but there's also a little. But as I was both looking up on this, it actually reminds me of one of the concepts that one of the things that is going to be mentioned and even talked about in one of my Jurassic Park special later this year. And for that's one of the, and I thought, what the heck? I'll probably talk just a very small sliver of this sort of concept, and how would it apply in real life? You see, do we? You see, this is mentioned. This is mentioned a little bit in the Jurassic Park novels, but while it's not exactly mentioned in the movies, it is kind of hinted here and there, both in the TV and in the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, that the dinosaurs are engineered here. They were engineered to grow faster than their contemporaries. And this is basically so they could be able to get to a good marketable size by the time by the at a short amount of time than they would have naturally, which is in some ways pretty similar to how we do with livestock. If we were to do something similar for T Rex, that like it does bring the question: is it possible to be able to do something like this in real life, to genetically engineer an animal to grow faster than it naturally will? Well, yes, there is, in two different ways. One is that we have selectively bred animals to grow big fast, and best examples of this is like large breeds of dogs like the St. Bernards, or even large breeds of draft horses like the Clydesdale. They're often, quote unquote, be able to grow big fast, so they can be able to get to a pretty impressive size at a younger age. And that's just with selective breeding. But with genetic engineering, why, yes, we have. In fact, it's actually being done for part of agriculture. The best example of an animal that's been genetically engineered to grow faster than its natural counterpart is the Vantage salmon. It's basically the first genetically modified animal approved for food consumption, basically developed by Aqua Bounty Technologies. This aquatic Atlantic salmon reaches the market rate in 18 months. About half the time that a conventional farm salmon would go. This is by utilizing a growth hormone gene from a Chinook salmon and a regulator from a ocean pout. And what are the key details of this GMO? Well, it will contain the rDNA construct, an rDNA construct, allowing it to produce the growth hormone year round rather than just growing during warmer months. And the efficiency is that they will require 25% less food to produce the same amount of meat compared to a regular naturally farmed salmon. And interestingly enough, the FDA was able to approve them safe to eat by 2015. While there are definitely fears of them interbreeding with the wild fish. This is definitely a great example of them being able to modify an animal to grow faster than their natural counterparts. There were other examples that happened in the past, like in the 1980s. They pretty much human-induced growth hormones in like pigs to have increased growth rates, but this did lead to severe health issues that would not go well. But health issues, we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, as mentioned before, in recent research research that we got known of the last few weeks, that T-Rex will normally take approximately 40 years to reach adult full size, at an adult size of roughly 8 tons. If we use the model for the Aqua Advantage model, how they did with the salmon, which reduces the maturation time by half, an engineered T-Rex might be able to reach estimated maturity at around 20 years, like how we used to think they were. And mind you, if we go over this route, the animal will have an accelerated weight gain. Like basically, a natural, unaltered T-Rex would basically reach a peak rate growth rate at 4.5 pounds a day. Doing it as like adolescent spurt. The engineered variety will definitely double that, like basically getting up to 9 pounds a day. So yeah. So basically, in order to be able to reach the fully grown Tyrannosaurus size at like half that speed, it will definitely need to be gaining about 9 pounds of food, 9 pounds a day. Definitely faster than the 4.5 pounds as a normal T-Rex would when adolescents. And the engineered salmon will achieve its speed through a genetic construct that keeps growth hormones active all year round. Now, this will definitely go against what a natural T-Rex would go for. For in the wild, a T-Rex will have a natural, flexible growth patterns. This will basically show that its growth period would slow down, like doing periods of low resource availability, like doing droughts and whatnot. So basically, instead of a gradual 40-year trajectory, the engineered variety would just bypass these stages to become that apex predator like half the time, and it's definitely going to be immense. But even though you could be able to, hypothetically, you're able to engineer T-Rex to grow this much faster, that's not going to be without problems. I mean, remember those large breeds that I mentioned before of large dogs and large breeds of horses? Well, to grow that big that fast, it's not without consequences. Forcing a Tyrannosaurus to reach full size half the time would definitely cause a lot of life-threatening physiological complications. While engineering the aquavantage salmon would eliminate the slow growth periods, this would definitely place immense unprecedented stress on a 8 to 9 ton land animal. I mean, a fish. I mean, we don't know much about what kind of issues the salmon would face, but aquatic animals have the cheat code because water pretty much makes them feel light. I mean, that's why we have whales, and based on everything we know about by historical genetic engineering experiments, and on what fast growing large animals go deal with, there are definitely a few health concerns that would definitely be a problem for a genetically engineered fast growing T-Rex. When a T-Rex grows naturally, their bone will be remodeled, and this will allow the skeleton to strengthen in response to the increasing weight, like a slow and steady wins the race sort of thing. However, In a situation where you force the animal's growth like as twice the usual amount a day, could definitely outpace the body's ability to just have the bones become dense enough to be able to support all that weight. So it's like trying to build a building as fast as you can, but not allowing yourself to get tougher material. The large Tyrannosaurus skulls already operate to the near limit of structural failure. Rapid growth would lead to malformed joints or extra vertebra, which is basically a side effect that has been seen on fast growing pigs that were engineered back then in the 1980s, like I mentioned. And like those same pigs, they will also become arthritic and will even possibly even struggle to stand. An accelerated T Rex like that would definitely most likely suffer from crippling joint pain and even have develops like spontaneous bone fractures under its own weight. So yeah, growing that big that fast, it does not do well for the animal's bones, and that's not the only problem. When a T Rex grows naturally, they already require a large amount of food during its adolescent growth spurt. In this genetic engineering situation, doubling that kind of growth rate will require a caloric intake that might exceed even the capacity of its digestive system to be able to process nutrients. And if it doesn't get enough high quality food, it's unfortunately quite possible that its body could be able to, well, not entirely literally, but pretty close, cannibalize on its own organs. Now, mind you, T Rexes likely had a high metabolic rate, similar to like that of a bird, and the massive internal heat that is generated with such a rapid metabolic processing would definitely lead to overheating. And large animals often already struggle with being able to shed excess heat. So, oh boy, by metabolism wise, a genetically engineered T Rex for this would definitely be suffering. Now, with this rapid growth, there's definitely going to be a lot of abnormalities, deformities, and malfunctions. Overexpression of growth hormones can definitely cause the organs to have abnormalities, like there would be heart and liver damage. A heart is forced to scale up to support a multi-tongue animal in half the usual time will definitely develop defects, which will eventually lead to early heart failure. There is also the risk that the muscle mass would increase faster than the tendons and ligaments could adapt, leading to frequent ruptures and unfortunately an inability to walk safely. So, yeah. Now, mind you, while this might not be that important for, like, say, like a captive Jurassic Park kind of situation, it will definitely be important for if the animals gets in the wild. Like, like similar to like Site B, Easel Sorna, or like a Lost World Jurassic Park kind of situation. Basically, it will not be flexible. Basically, a natural T Rex would their growth there is pretty flexible. They can grow less during the leaner times, and they will be able to grow more when food is plentiful. This is seen in a lot of different animals, so that they could be able to adapt to the current environment. However, a T Rex that's been engineered to grow big fast will not have this safety feature. This animal will just be had to be keep has to constantly eat, and most likely would starve to death if food's not constantly available to fuel its forced growth. And and with it having that and with it trying to compensate for its forced growth, it could disrupt the environment and probably need a hunt relatively more often than a natural Tyrannosaurus would in his natural environment. And also, what other kind of problems would this forced growth have on the T-Rex? And what could be done to fix it? Well, I will not tell you. At least not right now. The, the rest of this kind of conversation will be part of my Jurassic Park special later this year in December as my annual special. Now, I'm pretty sure many of you are probably like, didn't even think about that in this part of the franchise. Well, at first, neither did I, but growing up and dealing with Clydesdale horses and similar, I kind of realized this will definitely be an issue. And definitely even more so than I thought when I did some more research on it. But this is basically just a sliver of the information that most of us don't even think about. If we're trying to make like a real life Jurassic Park. So I hope this definitely entertained you. It definitely, the research in this topic even entertained me. So I hope you all have a great and wonderful day. Adios.